formatting a research paper in MLA and APA documentation styles. Now you'll find both files on your course page. The file seen on your left is the instruction file that shows both the MLA and the APA documentation styles, which also includes the instructions for formatting this research paper, which is seen on your right, which is called the W03C diet exercise file. So you'll need both files to do this activity. Now, what's the MLA and what's the APA documentation styles? Let's head back up to the top of this page. Now, when you write a research paper or report for college or business, you should follow a prescribed style. And one of the standards you'll find is the MLA style, Modern Language Association of America. And the other style is the American Psychological Association, or depending on what type of paper you're writing, it may require one of these two styles. Now we're going to start formatting an MLA paper in this video, and in a follow-up video, you'll see the APA documentation style. So let's see what the MLA style requires. Now the document has a particular font style and font size that needs to be formatted too. So let's check to see what this document came with. Right now it's set at Calibri size 11, and this must change because, as you notice, number one, the font should be size 12. Okay, so let's select all the text in this document, and the easiest way to do so is the shortcut keys Control and A. Otherwise, you'll find yourself dragging through to select all the text. So the size of the font should be 12, and the style of the font should be Times New Roman or something similar. Now, the document should also be double-spaced. So let's set the document line spacing here. Still working on the Home tab. The double line spacing is indicated by the 2.0. Now, the margins are to be set 1 inch top, bottom, left, and right. So how do we know what our margins are? We can check the Layout tab and go to Margins, and you'll notice it's already set, and the normal style has those settings. Now, the MLA style requires that you have at the top of the page, in the header, the author's name followed by the page number. Now, how do we get to the header? There's at least two ways to get there. Now, you can go to the Insert tab, go to the Header and Footer group, and select Header. And we're going to go all the way down to Edit Header, or you can simply double-click in the header area to open the header. Now, they said this header should be right aligned, so Control and R should take your insertion point to the right margin, and all they want from you here is the author's last name followed by the page number. So I'm writing this paper, I'm putting my last name there. Now, how do we insert the page number? No, we cannot type the number 1 here. You know why? Every other page will have the number 1 on it. What we do want is for the software to number the pages for us. So still working on the header, we're going to be using the Design tab for the header and footer tools, and we're going to go to the page number button, current position, plain number. That's all they want for the header for the MLA style. Now, MLA style does not want a separate paper that includes the information like the author and the instructor and the date and so forth. Instead, they place these as a block of information before the body of the paper actually begins. So here, I'm going to press Enter to move the rest of the document down. And it is here, if you notice in your instruction sheet, that you'll find this information about the name of the author of the paper, the instructor's name, the course, and the date. So here we go. Since I'm writing this paper, then the author's name followed by the instructor or professor's name. So because I'm the instructor, I'm putting the instructor's name here. followed by the name of the course. And our course is Computer Applications, CIS 116, that's the course code, and the date. So let's say it's today. Okay. Now after this block of information, you'll have the title of the paper, and this should be centered. So I'm using shortcut keys here, Control and E. Or did you know that there's a feature called click and type? Now, if you notice, your mouse pointer looks different when you position it center, as it does look different when you position it left or right. Now I'm going to point my pointer approximately position center on the page, and I'm going to double click. And the click and type feature allows the insertion point to simply jump to that position. So try it for the left margin, and you can try it for the right margin as well. So it's called click and type. So the title of this paper is, and the information you'll find further down on the page, effects of diet and exercise. Okay, now both the MLA and APA styles require what is called citations. Now, a citation is an in-text reference or kind of a note that points the reader to where this particular piece of information may have come from. And that also guides the reader to look at the references page or works cited page, depends on the style, to see all the details for this particular author or authors. So in this research paper, there are 3 sources, 2 books, and 1 website. And we're going to insert them into this document. And here's how. We're going to use the References tab to do so. Now, before we get to the references, there's something in the document that needs to be done. Now, we did double space the text, and we did change the size to size 12 and the font style to Times New Roman, but there's something missing. Now, let's head back up into the instruction sheet and you'll see what's missing. This is the MLA style. You notice there should be a 1/2 of an inch indent for each paragraph. How do we get that? Now, if you're not sure how the feature works, which I'll show you just now, you probably would have pressed the tab key for every paragraph, but that's a bit time consuming. Imagine 100 pages of that. Here's what you should do. You're going to highlight the text in your paragraphs, all of it. Let's go back to the top. And here's the feature that you are going to use. Now, if you do not have rulers on your window, and I have rulers here, you'll have to go to the View tab, and you'll have to check the box, just show for ruler, and the ruler will show up. Now on the ruler, there's some markers. The one at the very top here is called the first line indent marker. The one directly below it is hanging. The one under that is left, and way over here is the right indent marker. So here's how to work this software. You're going to point to the first line indent marker and drag it to the 0.5 mark on the ruler, and if you're looking, all those paragraphs, the first lines are going to indent automatically. And you would have then set the precedence for the rest of the document, because if you create a new paragraph, automatically it will indent also. Now that we've fixed that, let's get to the citations. The first one is a book. It says it should be inserted at the end of the paragraph that begins the scientific evidence. So we're positioning the insertion point beside the full stop. To the left of the full stop, we're going to put a space, and we're going to go to the References tab. Now on the References tab, in the Citations and Bibliography group, we're going to use the Insert Citations button. Now notice my style here is set to APA, but actually we're using the MLA, so I must change it. Now back to the position where we were. We're going to click the Insert Citation button. Now you notice there are two options, add new source and add new placeholder. Now what's the difference? If I'm not sure if I have all the information for a particular source, I can use the add new placeholder option. Simply give it a name. Let's say that's the author. And I'll return to it later because it is actually blank. There's nothing there. But if I have everything for that source, I would go straight ahead and do this instead. Same button, add new source, and proceed to put in my information. So I know this is a book. You notice all of the other types of sources that can be placed. And we now have to determine where to place what. Now, in the table on your document here, you'll notice we have 3 different authors. Now, as it is right here, you can type this straight away. But if it were not stated this way, you'll have to insert them differently. Now, normally, if it is one author, for example, if it was just Jasper A.J. Smiths, you would type their last name first, put a comma, put their first name, followed by the initials. Or if no initials, it's simply just Smiths, comma, Jasper. Now, if you had all the first names and last names for these individuals, these authors, here's the other thing you can do. There's an edit button. When you click edit, you can put in all their last, first, and middle names. Click the add button. They will join the list of names, and keep doing that for every author, and the software will automatically format the authors according to the style. But in this case, they're simply listed for us, so let's go ahead and put Otto, Michael, and Jasper A.J. Smiths, 3 different authors. The title of the book is going to be typed next. Now, if you have this information stored in a different place, you can easily copy and paste into the relevant boxes, but I'm typing in this case. Okay, in the next box is the year. That's the year that the book was published, the city, the publisher, and the medium. And medium here means in what form did this book come out. And here we have print. So once all the information is entered, we're going to click on OK. Now, if it is that you have information that is not seen in the boxes here, there is an option called the Show All Bibliography Fields option. And you'll notice that there are a whole lot of other things that you could have inserted that pertains to the particular source. But for this, we'll hide those and click OK. So in your document, you get Otto. Now, we are supposed to edit the citation so it shows page numbers. Now, did you know that once you insert a citation using the method that you just saw, the citations become an active element in the document? So I'm able to now click on what's called the Citations Options button. And I have 4 options here: edit citation, edit source, convert citations to static text, and update citations and bibliography. Now, I'm going to go to edit citation, and it's asking to add page number 3 to this. Now we have the other options here. You can add page numbers, yes, but you can also suppress or hide the author, the year, and the title. So now it says Auto 3. Now to the next source. It's another book, and we'll find this is to be inserted in a paragraph that begins other positive effects. Other positive effects. Just before the word subsequently, before that full stop, We're going to insert our second citation, and we're going to click the same Insert Citations button. Add New Source is still a book, and we'll proceed to put in the authors as seen. Okay, and the title, and the year, and the city, the publisher, and the medium. And we click on OK, and in this case it says Lawman. Now it's asking us to edit the citation to add page 195, and just as we did before, using the Citations Options button, we're going to click on Edit Citation and type 195. Now, if you're curious about what the other options are saying, if you go to Edit Source, it goes back to that same window that you were entering the information in initially. And you can make changes then too. Our final source is a website, and it says that with this source needs to be placed at the very last paragraph at the end of the document. So here beside loss, our final citation is going to be added, and we're changing it from book to website. Now notice we have author and corporate author, so there are no individual authors here. So we're ticking the corporate author checkbox, and here we'll type the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And name of web page, the year, the month, and the day. Now, the year, month, and day is different from year accessed, month accessed, and day accessed, meaning the year that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services posted their information on their website was the year 2012, the month of October, and the day the 15th. But the year, month, and day that you, the individual who have accessed the site, is different. So in this case, the year accessed, 2016, the month accessed is July, and the day, the 21st, and the medium is web for website. And now in your document, you'll have U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Now, at the end of your paper for the MLA style, both styles require a list of references. So these 3 references that you've typed in so far will be placed at the bottom of the paper on the particular heading. So to create a new page, I'm going to use the shortcut keys Control and Enter. And now that I'm on the blank new page, the title, I'm Control and E here, shortcut keys, is Works Cited. And this is the title of references. This is the title of the bibliographic page when doing the MLA style. I'm going to send the insertion back to the left margin, and those 3 sources will be inserted in alphabetical order following this procedure. Back to the References tab. In the Citations and Bibliography group, we're going to click the Bibliography button. We're going to click on Insert Bibliography, and you have the list of sources. The only problem is that they need to conform to the size of the font. Notice we have to set that. Seal size 12. The style of the font, which should still be Times New Roman, and the line spacing is off as well. It should be 2.0. And that's it for the MLA documentation style. So let's review. The MLA style asks for a header that simply has the student's last name followed by the page number. There is no separate page for the MLA style. Instead, the information is in a block format just before the paper. The title of the paper is centered, and if you recall, we mentioned a feature called Click and Type. The body of the paper, the document is double-spaced, it's Times New Roman, and there's a first line indent of 0.5 on every paragraph. And remember, we use the first line indent marker to make those changes. Then, using the References tab, clicking the Insert Citations button, Add New Source, you are able to add different types of citations to your document by simply filling in the information. By the time you get to the end of the paper and you create a new page, in the MLA style, it's headed Works Cited, and we simply went to the Citations and Bibliographic group, clicked Bibliography and Insert Bibliography, and inside the document, all the references or the sources were placed in alphabetical order, and the only change we made was to make sure that they were double-spaced, the same size font, size 12, and Times New Roman. And this represents the MLA style of writing research papers.